Oh, he's running by himself.
Yes. Come.
Into my mouth! I've been so long alone, without
Here,
a man.
at last. You know our story now. Of how we tried. Of how we failed. All our hopes extinguished. Save one. Your touch. A spark. A spark to save the world.
Wait!
Oh.
Do not touch the pedestal.
Minerva?
You. But how? You left. You destroyed the device.
Did you think there was only one?
What the hell is going on here?
You must not free her.
Free her?
Juno dwells within these walls, awaiting release. I will explain. While we
Please do.
worked to save the world, she sought instead to conquer it. She used our machines to set her plans in motion. Divination through numbers. There is a pattern to existence. To comprehend the calculations is to tame time. This was my focus. And so I built the eye to aid us. But she turned it towards her own ends. When we discovered her treachery, we put a stop to it. And then we left. But first we called to you, that you might try again. We thought it would be safe with her gone. Now I see we were deceived. She survived, she endured, and then she began to work. For centuries, Tinia and I walked the world, hoping to rekindle
Who the fuck
this
is
spark of
Tinia?
civilization.
And
We
where's
shared what
Zeus?
we knew
The
as
Zeus
best we
guy.
could. We were not the only ones, but for all the power we wrought, still death would claim us. But before it did, I would have one last look to know if we had succeeded.
That's how you're here now?
I had hoped you might find this place and finish our work. But it is too late. You and the Templars have squabbled over our refuse. You have wasted centuries, and so you have lost your chance. You cannot hope to stop the end now, Desmond. Only to survive.
She's lying! Only touch the pedestal and the world will be saved.
Better the world burn than she be loosed upon it.
Is that so? Show him then.
But he will not understand. It is complicated. It is...
Show me.
Show it to him.
If you heed Minerva, the sun will have its way. The ground will crack and spit fire into the skies. All the world will burn. But this does not end the world, merely heralds its arrival. Darkness follows. Then you emerge, resolving to lay a foundation that such a tragedy does not befall the world again. You will become a symbol to those who survive. Hope, knowledge, determination. You will inspire them to rebuild, to thrive once more. And as the world heals, so too will humanity. But you are just a man, frail and mortal. You pass from the world, leaving behind only a memory. A legacy. You will be remembered first as a hero, later as a legend, and in time, as a god. It is the cruelest fate to have written words that meant well, and see them made wicked and unwise. What was meant to encourage life, used instead to justify taking it. And so now you see that what was shall be again. So tell me, how is this better?
Basically, he becomes Jesus and creates a new religion.
She would sacrifice you, sacrifice the world, for no other reason than to deny me vindication.
They will enslave your kind, Desmond. Is this not why you fight? Is this not why you came here? To ensure more than just your race's future, but its freedom?
What future? What freedom? Billions dead and the whole cycle begun anew? This world has known nothing but heartache and horror since we left it.
Our gift to them. And you'd see it all returned.
Enough!
You must not do this.
Whatever Juno's planning, however terrible it might seem today, we'll find a way to stop it. But the alternative, what you want, there's no hope there.
If you free her, you'll be destroyed.
It will happen in an instant. There will be no pain.
You mustn't.
It's done,
What?
Minerva.
I will
This
destroy you
isn't
in an
fair.
instant. There will be no pain.
Then the consequences of this mistake are yours to live and die with.
You need to go. All of you. Now. Get as far away from here as you can. Come with us. We'll find another way.
No, Dad.
There isn't time. Son. You know it's true. It's already started. I need to do this now. So go. Go!
I wonder if there's like an alternative ending to this. I don't know. Maybe not. Maybe this is the actual ending. Well, Desmond fried.
It's some sort of global aurora borealis. Never seen anything like this before. Eyewitnesses describe electrical storms and erratic displays of unusual weather. Residents are being asked to remain inside and wait.
Wait.
For geological surveys are now reporting seismic activity throughout the Ring of Fire. Northeastern Canada is said to be
Wait, what?
experiencing the largest.
Wasn't he supposed to stop this?
Are failing as the flare increases in intensity. Worldwide reports of blackouts seems to be receding. Residual seismic and volcanic activity is being reported, but nothing approaching earlier.
Oh.
Obviously, it'll be a while before experts are able to assess the full extent of the damage caused by today's event. But it appears the worst is behind us.
So it actually did stop.
As this story develops.
So what happened?
It is done. The world is saved. You played your part well, Desmond. But now it's time that I played mine.
I'm gonna play Assassin's Creed 4 now. Goodbye, Desmond. Okay. Goodbye. There she went. Off to play Assassin's Creed 4, I guess. So, did Desmond die actually, or I don't like. They saved the world, but instead they released her so that she can basically destroy the world after that. I mean, the other solution would have been like that they just almost wipe out and it recycles the whole thing or repeats the whole thing. This will happen in the future at some point. Creating religions. Are they actually hinting that the first time this happened, there was actually some person who did the same solution as Desmond and became like a prophet type of deal? And that's how the religion, the originator religion, started with the humans and turned into something like Templar and split into assassin type of deal. I feel like that's kind of what they hinted, and that would happen also at this point. Like it would split again, creating, like making Desmond the prophet and turning, creating a new religion with Templars, and then the counter things which are assassins. It would just repeat that until the next explosion, next solar flare. I don't know. This is kind of a cliffhanger ending also, because I don't know, is Desmond still alive? Did he die? What happened? What will that Juno do? I mean, I don't know. It's kind of a cliffhanger ending still. So I feel like you are supposed to play Assassin's Creed 4 in order to actually see it more. I honestly, like, I'm starting to feel like Assassin's Creed 4 is the final part of this storyline because that's the final numbered entry. After that, they started to change into, I think, Origins was the next one after that, and then it was Odyssey and Valhalla and Mirage and Shadows, whatever it is. I don't know. Okay, so that actually just kind of made me think about the whole game or the whole storyline and stuff. Well, I missed out on stuff. I'm not sure if there's going to be something after the credits or if the gameplay continues and there will be like end game stuff. There is also the DLC, the Tyranny of George Washington, I think, or something like that. I'm not sure. I think I have it here. I checked it out that it might be working. I guess it is part of this that I bought. I might think about doing that. But we'll have to see after these. I did I did basically everything except for the glitching shit that was there and the George Washington dialogue that I missed. But I guess I might as well, even though I'm probably continuing a bit after this, I'm going to actually give my initial thoughts about the game. I can kinda understand why this game isn't being talked about almost at all. Like, it's... like, it's not bad, but it's definitely not good either. It's like kind of a meh. The story and plot is all over the place. I feel like it's a mess. The thing is, the story is so forced. They've so much tried to force the whole connection to the revolution of United States and the whole, like, it's so forced. They just tried to force it. The other part is also like the whole. It kind of feels like they just wanted to add a Native American to the storyline. There's actually like really no like point for it to be like the main character being a Native American. Like, I mean, you can make an argument that there's like some connection like there, but there it doesn't really need to be like that. Second of all, the whole like idea that either the Native American shouldn't be like a actual connection to the revolution, at least in that like he's basically the force behind everything, doing every work, creating like better world and all that shit, like making it happen. I feel like that's kind of it's just like too forced. It's just too forced how they're doing this. The second point is that there's like lots of things that didn't need to be in the like just don't like work out. It's so there's like lots of things. Like the funny part is I like playing this game. The main story is a mess, but the side activities and side quests are actually pretty interesting. I like doing them. Like almost all of them. The gameplay is kind of maybe addicting is the wrong word, but it's kind of like enjoyable. I like doing it, even with the glitches and the wonkiness and all that. It was still like since it wasn't really that difficult, the game is like piss easy. Like Jesus Christ, this is just like there's no. You could just go and kill everything. You don't need to assassinate. You don't need to think about anything. You just go and kill everyone with basic attacking. There's no armor. There's no increased health. There's no increased damage. Like the game is piss easy, but it's still pretty enjoyable. The whole exploration, how many side activities there are, how many side quests there are. The homestead missions are actually, in my opinion, really interesting, especially how it culminates into the whole like Achilles dying and all that. But the main story is just like I feel like the whole thing is too forced. The whole like the Abstergo Templar, that's also too forced. Also the whole like huge reveal or the plot that the Haytham was actually an assassin from the beginning, and the whole like there's so many like things that they don't even remember about, like plot holes, or so to speak. Like the whole idea that they changed the Connor's name, I think, was because of the fact that they were trying to pretend that he's a Spaniard, not a Native American, just trying to hide that. Achilles even says that it's better that way. And then they just like basically forget about it and show that everybody knows that he is Native American. Then there's also like the whole like how you're forced, heavy-handed forcing of the character into being part of the bigger plot lines, talking with the big historical figures. Like they're just like trying to force the historical figures into it. Like, yeah, they're all friends of John Paul Revere, and all those are like friends to him, and he was in the middle of everything. It's just so forced, like so fucking forced that it's kind of like, yeah. I mean, I don't know about the Revolution, and I don't know about the whole storyline. I don't know about the critics that they offer, because it's obvious that they're critiquing George Washington and all that. But there's also like this, like disconnection with the character, because he's like the best example is the George Washington situation, where he like puts them to destroy the village of Connor, and then Connor is like, fuck that, I won't do anything to the guy who commanded it, but I will go and stop them messengers. And the George Washington is like, okay, you can go and stop them, it doesn't matter. And then he like denies Haytham, and the Haytham thing is also like, I'm jumping it around because it's just so I feel like it's crappily made. Like the Haytham, how he flip-flops to the other side, there's like no logic to their, like they're trying to bait that Templars are actually good, they actually have, they can be reasoned with and all that shit, and it's just so fucking all over, like I said, all over the place. It's a mess. This whole main story is just a mess. The whole like Desmond doing what he thinks, the people like the Juno changing, like at some point being like, I hate you all and I want you suck and all that. Then at the other end, like, okay, you're good guys, I want you to help me find them. And then suddenly like a plot, what's it called, like the fucking Minerva just jumping in, okay, I was away, but now I suddenly, just in time, in the last part of this, come to warn you about doing this. Like, I'm kind of tired, so my brain activity is pretty low, but the thing is, despite all of those, despite the game looking actually pretty ass, despite the parkour being worse than in the previous game, because it's not, in generally it's not that bad, but if you need to move fast, it just fucks you over, because the running, like you try to run away from the enemies, but since the run button also climbs. If everything happens with the run button. You accidentally start climbing fucking barrels and shit, and when you're trying to just run past them. Trying to, like, jumping up the wall and all that instead of, like, going forward. And it's... These things, if you want to have this, it shouldn't be like one button does everything. Same with, like, opening stuff with the circle button. Circle button does everything, and like whistling when you're trying to loot. Picking up the corpse when you're trying to whistle, that happened. Also, the game has like lots of glitches with just like actual fucking weird ass glitches that actually have a pretty huge, like, they're not game breaking, but they have negative parts, like the negative bad, really bad effects. Like, for example, how my fucking wagon got destroyed because because the game just glitched and thought that I didn't kill the enemies since I killed them stealth attack in the beginning, and they were infinitely locked there, and when I left there, it just, the wagon got destroyed. Not to mention, like, the pop-up text on the screen showing them, it doesn't always show them, like the wagon things, or that you need to defend them, or the other stuff. Like, everything is so fucking wonky. Well, not everything, but many of the things are so wonky. Like the show advice text of the mason puzzle showing permanently on the screen when you're already running away or moving in the sewers. There's just so much, like, these silly minor glitches that get kinda annoying. Like, some of the stuff is also clumsy, like the reloading is like super clumsy. But then again, that's kind of the point. The caravan or convoy equipping things and doing stuff in the menus in there, that's also like unnecessarily difficult, same as with checking out the logs. Not to mention, you can't like nothing really works good. That's the problem. The game also looks pretty fucking shit in my opinion. Like, I feel like the previous 3 that I played actually looks way better than this, even though this is remastered and newer version. Also, those games actually work better. Like, this is a downgrade from those. The only thing this game has going is that it has a lot of content. Like, I've been playing this for over 40 hours. Like, I think something like 45 hours it took me to actually beat this and do most of the stuff. I still missed out on some and didn't grind the synchronizations and all those. But 45 hours is actually quite a bit. And the thing is, I didn't get bored with this game. Like, I wanted to actually play it. And that's rare for me. I usually, like, the 30-hour marks is kind of like usually the situation where I start to get, like, really bored. And kind of feel like, Jesus Christ, I don't want to play this game anymore. But that didn't even happen in this game. That's kind of crazy. That's why I kind of want to see what if there's like any extra content after finishing the game. And if the DLC actually is something. Because I kind of want to play that. Like I said, I have Assassin's Creed 4 Black Flag as well. And I'm probably going to be playing that. But I kind of want to finish this fully before doing that. Now I'm not going to do the 100% synchronizations because this game, the synchronization things are kind of fucking, well, wonky. That's the best word because many of the things in this game are wonky. Like, for example, I just noticed the sound levels, I lowered them to 5 from 10, the music levels. Okay, now you can hear that they are actually like lower to their corresponding part. In the game, they randomly like go to maximum, over maximum sounds and start blaring with like insane sounds just randomly. Like, the dialogue that the characters speak, it doesn't even, you can't even hear them. You can like faintly hear someone mumbling there, "Hello, Connor." It just, this shit doesn't just fucking work. And imagine that they tested this out. Imagine that this is a remastered version where you could think that they've fixed a lot of the issues and bugs, but nope. The thing is, I don't dislike this game. I actually enjoyed playing it. I enjoyed the side quests, I enjoyed the whole thing. The only thing is that the voice acting is, like, leaves something to be desired with everyone. Like, the previous games had way better voice acting. Like, way better. Connor is like the fucking, like, come on, man. That's really bad voice acting, honestly. Well, not always. Like, some of the situations are decent, but there are, like, places where it's just like, oh man, I need to be very young. It's like fucking Keanu Reeves trying to, like, old, young Keanu Reeves trying to, like, fucking make some deep, emotional voice acting. That's how it is. And I have to tell you that young Keanu Reeves wasn't very good at voice acting, or acting at all. But the thing is, this game is kind of a mess. That's all I'm going to say. I enjoyed playing it, and I liked the side quests, but the voice acting is just kind of like, what the fuck, man. And that's like most of the voice acting. I feel like they should have maybe actually gotten an actual voice actor for Connor. Like it's obvious that they just wanted to get hire and get a Native American to voice act him, even though he isn't a good voice actor. But I feel like they should have probably just like hired a actual voice actor, like an actual voice actor who knows how to voice act, and kept the Native Americans speaking like the dialogues with their language that they had, like the Requiescat in pace situations. Because honestly, he didn't even speak half English like they do in the previous ones. The dialogues where he was talking in the Native American language was where he was only speaking that. And the other thing is, like, I have to point out about the weirdness of this mess of a story. Like, why would the friend of Connor, childhood friend, be actually like believing the guy who burnt down the village? And not to mention, like, it's like sometimes they know they're in the loop. They know, like, that Lafayette guy knew Connor instantly. Like, yeah, you're that Connor guy we've met and blah blah blah. And it's like they're pals. The first time I spoke to him, and they haven't met. They haven't been introduced in the storyline or shown anything there. They just know each other. But then, like, they wouldn't tell that Connor's friend about Charles Lee being the guy who actually burnt the whole place down and did the stuff. Really? That he's hunting him? Really? I mean, it's just so fucking... Like, the story is the worst part of this game, by far. Especially after the previous ones. The previous ones had such, like, actually well-pieced and thought-out story. It wasn't extremely forced. Like, they didn't just add all those, like, famous characters into it without any plans. They actually planned it out. It's obvious that they did more planning to the previous games, and this was just, like, added. Like, okay, we need to do the third one. Let's just put a Native American there who turns into a pirate. Well, not actually a pirate, but a seafarer captain, and starts doing that because, you know, why not? Since there's no point to that. But we still do it. Oh, and yeah, it has to be a Native American because it's impertinent to the story, but it's actually not impertinent to the story. Or rather, if it would be like for their people, like, and ignore the revolution, or the revolution just goes on there and in the background, and they're trying to like survive or make ends meet in that situation. And okay, well, let's admit that he has a father issue there, just like Desmond has father issues with him, with William, and yeah, like there's the connection and stuff, and we just need to force this here. The father is actually like random and switches sides, flopping around, doing whatever, because and they don't explain what Charles did, why he burned down the area. It's like so fucking all over. That's what I think about the game. That's my extensive... Well, actually, I was supposed to do my initial thoughts, but that's actually what I think about the game. I mean... The other part of the glitches is the whole, like, West Point. The West Point shit was, like... it's DLC and it's total fucking mess, also. I mean, the naval battles aren't really that bad, but I was kinda expecting them to be like super shit at the first, but it... Also, this game actually has a lot of situations where you need the AI to actually work properly in order for you to get the optional objectives done and all that. But yeah, this game kind of feels like it was the start of just like people doing, like the publisher trying to push, or the developers trying to just push faster and faster to a storyline. I'm not even sure if they actually had this whole Juno Desmond storyline thought out fully. And the other thing this game also has, that like that's my problem, because I read all of it, like so much of animus, like that text stuff. Like if I wouldn't have read all of those, I think it would have cut down the gameplay like for 2 hours or maybe even 3 hours. But I decided to read everything, because that's just how I am. I'm kind of autistic that way. I want to read everything. And the thing is, this didn't, unlike Brotherhood, where I did all of the optional shit, and I started to actually kind of burn out in that part, because the side missions, they weren't honestly that interesting, and they started to like, they just kept going basically. There was so much of it. I kinda got burned out in that game and wanted the play to end. Not to mention like the cliff puzzles were starting to like get on my nerves, because they take so long, and even the advices don't really like help that much. In this one I didn't feel like bored or annoyed with the side content, which is kinda interesting. Like, honestly, I actually liked looking around and searching for stuff and doing stuff. I mean, sure, you get the map and everything so you can see them easily. It's not like you can miss them after that, but still. Or maybe that's the reason, actually. But then again, if you can't find them, you don't even think about them. By the way, how fucking long are these ending credits? Seems like they like get longer and longer the further the game series goes on. Like the whole, also the whole like, I feel like they tried to make on like an epic story out of this, starting with the Haytham, then having that shock effect of them actually being Templars instead of assassins, and then actually the main character not being Haytham but Connor, and Connor growing up, turning into assassin and all that. They had this like big epic story all thought out. It didn't really pan out that way, but to be honest, that's not so bad. I mean, the thing is, I said it in the beginning, I never heard about this game, I hadn't seen any gameplay of it. Like, it's the only Assassin's Creed that I haven't really heard anything about. Like, what's it like? Or read anything about. And I said that can be either a neutral thing or a bad thing. Neutral in the sense that it's so average, generic, nobody really remembers it or cares to remember. Or bad, that it's so bad that nobody wants to remember and nobody wants to talk about it. Well, the case in this point is that it's just so average and generic that no one really remembers anything about it, and it's over. Probably the other ones overshadow it, because I've heard about everything else, and all I know that the newest one, I think it's the newest one, the Japanese thing. Is it Shadows? Assassin's Creed Shadows. That's like being critiqued a lot. Criticized. But I don't know. Noah Watts was Connor's voice actor. But like I said, the game isn't bad, but it's not good. It's just meh. It's something that you can play actually, just to experience it. Not to mention it kinda like adds up to the main story, but still. Ends up in a cliffhanger. Not to mention it doesn't, like, it just confuses everything. It doesn't really like give an actual explanation or rather make any sense. But it's still something that I actually like playing. Just because of the side quests. And I really think the homestead missions were actually pretty cool, although not very like deep or special, but they had their charm. I think they're probably the best part out of this. Like, I think the side quest and side content are the best part of this game. In any case, I'm gonna still like check out if there's like some end game content after finishing this, if I can do anything. And I might do the DLC, the Tyranny of George Washington. But this is the one of the longest playthroughs I've actually recorded. I mean, this is right now, it's about like the longest base gameplay I've done. Control is the longest one, so this is probably just a little bit like Control was like 46 parts, which are around hour. Basically like probably closer to 50 hours of gameplay. And I feel like this is already over 50 hours. And even if it isn't now, it will be after the DLC. And the thing is, I actually did all the DLCs in Control as well, so it's kind of like it's actually comparable. It's not like I just did DLCs on the other one and not the other one. Like the longest playthrough I've actually done is the Elden Ring Shadow of the Erdtree playthrough. That's longer. Like with actual like gameplay, it was probably closer to 100 hours. And the actual playthrough was a lot. I can't even remember. Like what, 250 hours? Something like that. I don't know. I can't remember. But it was 31 parts which were edited. And most of the parts were like 3 to 5 hours long, so at the moment this is going to be probably the second longest playthrough I've recorded. And the interesting part is that I didn't actually get bored with it. Like compared to the Revelations that I played previously, which was actually fairly short to do like basically all of the things in the game. This is a lot more. Not to mention, like, this game doesn't even have a like, well, it has like some things that actually make it lengthen the playthrough with the loading and the walking and those things, but not that much. When you compare it, for example, like Brotherhood, where lots of the slow movement, like walking in the teleporting around the tunnels, was actually like really slow because it takes like 30 seconds to actually, you know, get through it, get through the animation, even longer. So that adds up. How the fucking long are these? I'm starting to run out of topics to speak. But in any case, I like this so much that I'm going to play the Assassin's Creed 4 Black Flag as well. I think I bought like the thing that has DLC stuff and all that. I guess that will be the next one I do after this. Now I'm not sure how long that is. I've heard about that game and I know about something about it, but I wonder if it's longer than this. Like if the side quests or the side activities are actually meaningful or feel decent, then it's like, if they have these kinds of side quests in them, then it would be actually really interesting to do. And by the way, at first when I started playing this, I felt like all of the forest things and all those were actually pretty damn boring to do. But the more you start to play and move around and search, the more interesting it becomes, at least for me. Like the underground shit was, in my opinion, pretty like it shouldn't have been like that. There shouldn't be like forced walking downstairs slowly, searching for the locations. I feel like it's faster to move around the upper area. The only thing is that you can't unlock like they just made it to be like that you're forced to go to the underground and explore there. And I feel like that shouldn't be. I feel like the quick travel parts would be unlocked while moving up there. And they also didn't balance out the money gaining thing at all. Or rather the currency, how it is. I mean, I had fucking 150,000 and I got it pretty easily by just doing the convoy shit with certain items that you can get and restock every time. And that's like I had 150,000 after upgrading everything, buying everything from stores, and well, I didn't actually buy everything. I didn't buy all of the outfits and all. But even if I did, I'd still have like 100,000 because they're not expensive. Probably over 100,000. 100,000. I feel like they tried to like make it so that you get like the money is pretty rare and you can't get much of it easily. But at the same time, many things aren't really that expensive. The only thing they didn't understand is that doing those convoys and getting a lot of money from them easily kind of breaks everything. But that's a minor issue. It's never like a big deal if you get money or don't get money unless it breaks the game. And in this case, it just doesn't matter at all. These have to be the longest ending credits I've seen ever. Like, what the fuck? Yes, this was so goddamn big and good game that we need to have every fucking human in the world listed here as an inspiration. Sure, okay. I'm trying to think if there's anything else that They can literally play every music that's in the game, probably twice during the credits. But I'm trying to think if there's something that I need to remember. I mean, I kind of said everything, like all of the glitches, all of the mess of a game, mess of a story, actually. And also, I have, like, the thing is, some people might like it, but I kind of feel like the game actually spoiling itself, telling the sequences, how many missions there are, and all that. That's not a good thing. Like in the previous games, they didn't tell you about the length of the sequences, I don't think, at least. In this game, they actually outright tell you everything in the DNA thing. Like, it kind of like, there's no, like, if they just show how much there is, that would be okay, but they kind of like basically spoil everything. At least the main story shouldn't be spoiled like that. They shouldn't tell you about how much there is. That's how I at least feel. Open the temple door and learn demon. What the hell? Epilogue. Oh, there's a fucking epilogue? Davenport Homestead, 1783. Holy shit. Oh yes, those DLC outfits that I never used. Just burn them down. Oh yeah, is he going to be taking down the hatchet from the porch? Like, I don't know. Connor is kind of... Yeah, he's going to do it. Connor is like kinda neutral, kinda meh main character. Like, he feels too goody two shoes type of. I wonder what he was looking at. New painting is available at the Manor. Frank. Newspaper unlocked in the ADB, The Great Fire of New York. Newspaper unlocked in the ADB, The Battle of Trenton. Huh. Charles Lee updated. Okay, so when Lee was finally released from New York, he was convinced that the Continental Army couldn't hold its own against the British and told Congress so. However, when Washington decided to go ahead with plans to attack the British column at Monmouth, Lee insisted on being in charge. Once the battle began, Lee ordered his soldiers to retreat. Modern historians are still debating the reasons why. Maybe he'd forgotten his doggy treats in the tent and needed to go and get them. Washington swept in and took command, turning a complete rout of his army into a draw, and Lee received a very thorough and public dressing down. Afterward, Lee demanded an apology or a court-martial to clear his name. Washington chose the court-martial, which didn't go as Lee had hoped. He was found guilty of misbehavior before the enemy, making a shameful and disorderly retreat and disrespect to the commander-in-chief. He was only given a year's suspension for the crimes, but by the time the year was over, he'd been so vocal in his criticism of Washington that Congress removed him from the army permanently. Lee retired to his estate in Virginia, passing his time breeding more dogs. After his death, he was given a full military funeral, getting all the respect he craved. Too late to do anything with it. That's not what happened, though. So there's nothing here. Oh shit. Oh shit. Oh, there's the picture. Like I never even found those mementos, you know? Or, well, I actually did find them. So whatever actually happened to this character later on? Well, actually, I don't think any of them came back. Benjamin Search's memento, Johnson memento, Hatham's memento, Charles Lee's memento, Pitker's memento, Hickey's memento, and Nicholas Biddle memento. But he took away the pictures. Personally, wait a minute. It's actually saying that there is stuff in New York, like a main mission. What? This is like one of the things. Maybe there might be something there. I guess I'm going to check out the bonus thing still. And wait a minute. Session end. Charles Lee is dead, but Connor realizes his work is far from done. Contacted by the first civilization, he has buried the amulet where only Desmond will find it. Well, in any case, I'm gonna go and check out the stuff still. Not to mention, I'm probably going to be doing the DLC after that. I don't think I really have anything left. Yeah, I never got that, and I don't think I can actually do that either because of glitchiness. So, one more part at least, and maybe more depending on the DLC length. Well, the epilogue continues, or I guess begins. I just hopped back into the game and it actually popped up like 10,000 codes and animus entries and stuff. Yeah, the Battle of Trenton, the Great Fire of New York. I mean, I might as well read these quickly. The Battle of Trenton. Stunning victory. General Washington surprises Hessian force at Trenton. Hundreds of prisoners taken. In a daring raid, General George Washington has in one coup overcome months of reversal and achieved a marked victory. In the teeth of highly difficult conditions, the general was able to assemble some thousands of troops and ford a Delaware River encumbered by floes of ice. Excuse me. In fact, large numbers of his force were unable to complete the crossing, leaving the good general with less than half the troops expected for his raid. Nonetheless, the Continental Army marched through snow and sleet toward the garrisoned Hessian town of Trenton. Many of the troops were without boots and were therefore forced to tie rags about their feet and to march through the snow thus, leaving dark tracks of blood as a marker to their determination. In Trenton, the Americans surprised a Hessian force of 1,500 groggy with sleep. The main American force under Washington entered Trenton from the northwest. He sent General Sullivan around the town to attack from the south and set additional forces in a position to the northeast, forestalling a Hessians' retreat. The Hessians made a hasty attempt to form a line in the town, but were under artillery fire from Captain Alexander Hamilton, as well as attack from front and rear from Washington and Sullivan. Soldiers joined with inhabitants of the town to shoot from house windows upon the Hessian gunners. During this firefight, the commander of the garrison, Colonel Rall, was direly wounded. His troops retreated to an apple orchard and shortly thereafter surrendered. Nearly 900 Hessian troops were taken captive. In the fight, Lieutenant James Monroe was wounded but not grievously. Some days before this expedition, Thomas Paine's pamphlet The Crisis was read aloud to these same men. Mr. Paine begins with the phrase, "These are the times that try men's souls," and notes that the harder the conflict, the more glorious the triumph. Colonel Rall died from his wounds before the conflict's end. A message was found folded in his pocket warning him of the American approach, a warning he fatally ignored. What an idiot. The Great Fire of New York. Fire devastates Manhattan. Trinity Church burned, rebels thought responsible. A great fire spread through New York on the 21st, that being Saturday before last. The fire began near Whitehall, likely in the Fighting Cocks Tavern. Jesus Christ. There's lots of cocks fighting there, like sword fighting. Oh yeah, my cock is the strongest. Whose cock breaks first? Known for untoward behavior. A southwesterly wind quickly spread the flames north through the streets, putting many out of their homes. These citizens took what goods they could and found relatively safely on the town commons. The wind then shifted and burned most of the city from Broadway to Hudson. Burning ashes from shingles were carried by the winds across street and to far buildings. The roof of Trinity Church soon caught fire and the church burned in minutes. With little fire department left in the city, royal soldiers essayed to put out the flames, but these efforts were largely ineffective, and then fire raged through the night. Happily, St. Paul's Chapel was saved by volunteers bringing buckets of water to drench its roof. Very near 500 homes and buildings have been destroyed. Those responsible for the fire are known. However, it is no mystery that rebels would face difficulties for the king's soldiers who have so recently and valiantly taken hold of the city. An investigation has been begun by General Howe. Interesting. But they said George Washington actually said that it wasn't him or the rebels. He just commented that it was actually like really. What? There's actually a main mission in the Kanien Kehaka. Wait, there's an assassination contract there. Holy shit. There's more here now. Is there anything in Boston? Okay, so I guess the final things are unlocked in the... Oh shit. The final things are actually unlocked in the... in this. There are main missions still. Which is kind of weird considering that they... I don't think they actually show in the... Huh? Oh. Yeah, they don't show in here. So how is their main missions? Yeah, there's nothing in Boston. What about New York? Whoa! Whoa! Hold on, what the fuck? George Washington? I feel like this is kind of like if you'd miss out on the...
Connor, Commander,
It's good to see you.
you have what you set out for. What will you do with it?
A fair question. But if truth be told, I do not know. Men with far greater minds than mine will build this country's foundations. A task I am simply not equipped for.
Yeah, you suck.
Have you played bocce before? I'm really growing quite fond of it. I think I'll have a green built at Mount Vernon when I return.
All that
Bullshit.
death and sacrifice, and you mean to leave the important tasks to better men while you play games?
Yeah, I
never
do that.
Expected it.
Connor,
Whether you think you are capable or worthy of the task, after the things you have done to ensure this outcome, you should not have the luxury of peace.
Oh shit. That was the final one. Reveal all of Boston's map, reach all of the high points, discover all of the underground network entrances, visit every tavern in the Frontier, New York and Boston. Holy shit. What the fuck? We're playing this shit. What a fucking shitty game. What the fuck is this game and what's even going on? They don't even tell you about what this is.
I will get you next time.
Yes. Goodbye. Fuck that. Fuck your botse. So, I need to visit all of the taverns. I have fucking no idea where all the taverns are. Like... Well, actually, if it shows them all, then it's not a problem with the icon. There's actually quite a bit of taverns I haven't been to. Now that I think about it. So let's see if I can just get this. Okay. Yes. The autocorrection of the... Well, the contacts are there. Even though it doesn't show them.
The New York Morning Post. Weekly subscriptions for $1.
The Frontier Taverns, I don't think it even shows. Or maybe it does. Maybe it actually shows the games. Like this thing. Because I think in all of the taverns there are the games. So maybe. But one thing I'm never going to be doing is the fucking use all recruit abilities. That's one of the things I'm never going to be doing, but... I really feel like the whole like waypoint not having actually any, or being so, I don't know, kinda pointless in this game, the viewpoints. I keep calling them waypoints. What I mean is the synchro points or the viewpoints are pretty like pointless. In previous games they always actually cleared the whole like area of the map out of like they showed the map, you know, the items there and stuff. In this game they really don't do that. There's like lots of places where the fog of war is still around, even though you've cleared all of them. Not to mention, it kind of feels like they don't even show you the area and stuff in there. I was actually thinking that maybe the delivery quests are in there, but I mean that they did in the previous games are way better. They actually showed that you can where all the things are if you use the synchro point. Kind of like the reason for doing that. In this game it kind of feels, well, not pointless because it shows some things around, but it's like it feels like it should be still the same. You basically reveal the 100% of the map by doing all of them. Like showing all the things. Like it's kinda annoying that it does it. Well, that was all of these. What about the stuff in the frontier? Let's actually go quickly and see. Also, there's the Assassin contracts. Yeah, there's an inn. I think it'll actually show all the inns. Yeah. I'm pretty sure it shows all the inns, so I can just go there. Whoa. Whoa, dude. Whoa. The unfortunate part is that there's a... At least it fucking shows this. So what's the assassination contracts? Frontiers contracts. Huh. This shit glitches again. It's not giving me the contracts. It's not even showing the mission. As usual, the game bugs out. These are in every fucking tavern. Okay, so there's 2 of these in here. What's that animus database Buckman Tavern? The night before the battle at Lexington, town militia met on the Lexington Common to wait for British troops. They eventually moved into this tavern, which was a popular stopping place after training exercises. Militia members were given a free beer to encourage them to show up, because freedom fighters are at their sharpest and best after 6 pints and a packet of nuts. Just before dawn, the soldiers went back onto the common to meet the British forces. No one knows who fired the first shot, but some accounts say it came from the corner of a house to the right of the church, namely Buckman Tavern. Classic pub fight. Pub fight. Buckman. I'll take this horse, thank you. No one will miss it. No one will miss it. You have these assassination contracts, but they don't actually work. Because, you know. Monroe Tavern. What the fuck? Visit. Okay, that's all. I did Boston then. But I mean the... I feel like those glitches. Whatever. In any case, let's go see what the... Kanatahsehton area does. Maybe the assassination contracts are actually in... Who's this guy? Maybe the assassination contracts actually are in the cities. No, it just glitched. Whatever. Epilogue Kanatahsehton. Kinda looks like the assassin.
You're hungry? Have extra?
No, thank you. Where is everyone?
They went home. I
They've
mean,
gone west. Been a while since they left. Seems some fella from New York was granted the land by Congress.
What?
Seeing it happen more and more. Government says they don't take land that's already owned, but
How could this have happened?
we're on our own now. No more merry English parts and labour, which means we gotta go at it ourselves. Gotta pay for it too. Selling land is quick and easy, not quite so nasty as taxes. And since some say they're what started the old war, ain't no rush to bring 'em back. Clever men, these new leaders of ours. They know not to push it just yet. Too soon for taxes. Too British.
why are you so blurry, man? Am I hallucinating?
Thank you.
For what? Fuck off, this is my bonfire.
Be safe.
No, I mean, I understand like the whole thing is nothing actually changes. They just start taking their land. Or rather, this is the setup for the whole thing that they are actually taking their land. Okay, so let's try to do this again. I feel like it kind of glitches if you're too fast doing it, because I ran in there and just rushed through. But the game is glitchy as hell in some certain situations. Like, it's not game breaking. These aren't game breaking glitches. The only thing that was problematic was when I was launched into the heavens in one of the missions, but that's kind of the only one. And even that isn't really game breaking. Like, for example, the game breaking shit was in Revelations, where it actually did the whole Assassination, Frontier contracts. So now I think it actually registered. Yeah, now it did. Achilles' contracts note the whereabouts of various Templars. Fulfill their contracts to rid the new world of the Templar presence. Yeah, now it did. So, oh shit. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Okay. Time to get rid of the Time to get rid of the Templars. I mean, Revelations didn't even have assassination quests, basically. But you can think of the Master Assassin things. Fuck you. Yeah, nothing happened here, just keep on moving. You just keep on moving there, buddy. Buddy. Oh, broke my legs. Broke my legs and my head. But don't worry. There's nothing inside there anyway, so... Where is this? Can I just teleport closer? Well, basically, yeah, but... It's not really that much faster. I can't even do any of the summonings in the frontiers, so... I can't even try to complete that quest, but... That's the one thing that will get left out. It's obvious that it's fucking glitchy as hell. I've used all of them like 50,000 times. With getting the experience for them so it registers and everything. Them surviving it, it just doesn't work correctly. Not to mention like the whole escort shit doesn't work correctly. You get aggroed anyway. Reduce distance to the target. Huh? What the fuck? I don't know what they were doing. Why were these guys like attacking him? Oh shit, there's a wolf there as well. Actually, I'm pretty lucky they didn't attack me. Not sure how that happened, but... Okay, this is taking too long to run around. What the fuck? I really need to do the... Oh, and the delivery quest is the other one that just doesn't fucking work properly. Like, it says actually 0% even though I've done the deliveries. Or some of the deliveries. The game is saying that I have 0, like I don't have notoriety. But they're still detecting me, like I have. And I should have. Like, Jesus Christ, this game is so fucking... bugged. With these, like, minor bugs. It's kinda ridiculous, actually. Like, I'm incognito according to the icon on the left, right. But still they aggro me. And I shouldn't be incognito. Where's my horse? That guy was running away from me. In a panic. In a panic. The other question is, why didn't this unlock before? Why did the game like wait until this part? Like why can you only do this after in an epilogue? It doesn't really make sense. This is, I feel like this should have been like a mission for earlier part. Isn't that on the... It's on the other side over there. What the fuck? I think the horse is fused into the ground. This I actually need to see. It's either floating in the sky or fused under the ground. Well. I mean, it's not over there. Yeah, it's fused under the ground. Well, that was kind of a interesting turn of events. Actually, 89%. Yeah, I need to go through this place. I think there's enemies here. The Jonestown. Whoever Jones is, or John. Sure. Oh shit! Damn. That was... Well, at least I didn't die. What the fuck? Oh, I thought there were guard dogs. Okay, that's it. You only get money. So I never found out how to get the special iron ingots. Actually, was that all of the assassinations entirely? Yeah, it was. And this one just glitches because, you know. You know. So that's it. Nothing else in here. Just... Well, let's go to New York and do this shit. New York, New York. New York. Where is this supposed to be? In the docks. New York, New York. So you don't really fight against Jaggers that much. There's only a few of them. These guys aren't Jaggers either. So I actually did the smart thing by cheesing that, well, not cheesing, but repeating that place. I'm pretty sure you can find them somewhere here. Like, there's like a fortress hidden where, or a place hidden where there's many of them. But who the fuck knows where it is? What the fuck is this carriage? Epilogue Evacuation Day. Evacuation Day. Oh yeah, the British left. This is the thing.
America has no need for your services, back to Britain in a box.
Well, that was kinda... They shot the final volley. Idiots. Well, nothing happened, I guess.
Cut them down!
You should probably maintain your distance. What the fuck have... I'm covered in blood completely. What the hell happened here? Oh, it's slavery. Connor is like... pissed off that there's still slavery in this. Actually, you know what? Complete each of the epilogue missions. Evacuation Day, New York. November 25th, 1783. Evacuation Day was the date that the British troops sailed out of New York City at the end of the American Revolution. Not to be confused with Evacuation Day in Massachusetts, where the British sailed out of Boston Harbor near the beginning of the Revolution. While the Treaty of Paris formally ended the war in early September, the British took some time to pack up their belongings and leave their stronghold at New York, mainly because many loyalists found a sudden need to leave the country, and so there were more people to carry than they originally anticipated, plus they probably wanted some time in duty-free. Of course, the British are known for being practical jokers, and so they couldn't resist getting in a few friendly parting shots. Before they left, troops nailed a Union Jack to a flagpole on the bowling green and then greased the pole. Undaunted, the Americans nailed up spikes to help them climb, managing to raise stars and stripes before the British fleet had sailed out of sight. After that, climbing a greased flagpole to tear down a Union Jack would be part of New York's Evacuation Day festivities, proving that you Americans need better hobbies. The other British parting shot was a little one. A British ship fired a cannonball at the crowds on Staten Island, who were cheering at the departing flotilla. Nobody was hurt, the ball fell short of the land, but it's sometimes called the last shot of the American Revolution. Evacuation Day isn't much celebrated anymore. It fell out of favor when Thanksgiving was moved to the end of November in 1863. Treaty of Paris. Signed 1763. This is the treaty that ended the war between Britain and the United States, not to be confused with the Treaty of Paris of 1763, which ended the French and Indian War, or the Treaty of Paris of 1810, which ended the French war with Sweden. Paris loves a treaty. The fighting between American and British forces had mostly ended by 1781, with Cornwallis' surrender at Yorktown. This agreement formalized the end of the war and declared the United States as a new nation, with the 13 colonies as 13 new states. The treaty also provided for the release of prisoners of war on both sides, a return of seized property to loyalists and patriots alike, and an expansion of the boundaries of the United States. Of course, the reality was a bit more complicated. Both sides refused to return property that theoretically belonged to the other, like a messy divorce and some easy listening CDs. And as to the offer of expanded territory, well, Spain had other ideas about whose land it was, as did the indigenous peoples living there. Why does that sound like a radio is playing? So yeah, there's nothing here except that Washington shit. Like what the fuck? Yeah, play fucking random shit game with Washington. Yeah, my ideal happiness. Ideal happiness. What the fuck am I even talking about? Yeah, I guess that's it actually. Just a final check of everything. Yeah. Back to the homestead. Pretty sure I did everything. Kinda crazy. Yeah, no conversations or anything here either. Huh. Well, what I'm to actually understand from that whole epilogue thing is that they were kinda showing that despite Connor fighting for against freedom, no, not against, for freedom and against oppression, it didn't actually change anything. Freedom and freedom is reserved for the few, basically showing that there's still the slavery and the oppression of the indigenous people and taking their lands. That's what I feel like, and it kind of made it seem like Connor kind of figured out that maybe he was in the wrong, maybe nothing actually changed, maybe what he did wasn't the best choice. That's what I feel like the idea of that was. The thing is, wait. Oh, it's just a quick travel spot. The thing is, they kinda hinted that Hatham was right, and it was actually they don't really deserve the freedom or the choices what they do, and they would. That's what the Templars were doing. They wanted to maintain the status quo, making it so that nothing really changes, everything stays the same. But the truth is, that's not good thing either. From what I'm like, was it good thing what was how it was before? I don't know. I kind of feel like it wasn't. But the thing is, with Connor, it was obvious that he kind of felt like the thing isn't really the freedom he was fighting for, and maybe he shouldn't have done what it was with those, like the George Washington and others weren't actually, how should I say, like competent either for doing this. But that's kind of the critique I'm seeing in this, or I shouldn't probably say it's critique, but the point of it. And Hatham basically was right in saying that the whole thing shouldn't be like this. But in any case, I've done everything, at least everything I can do. That's just fuck you game. And oh shit, not that. And yeah, only 89%, like the actually it makes a lot of difference during the synchronizations of this game, but like the full synchronizations, but honestly the full synchronizations suck, and I'm not sure if this actually counts towards that because it's just fucked up. Like this game is just fucking fucked up. Session end. Oh, wait a minute, you can't even actually leave the animus anymore. Huh. Okay. Interesting. Well, okay, that's the main story of Assassin's Creed 3, the remastered version. I did everything I actually can, and a lot more. I'm not gonna repeat what I just said in the previous video about how I feel about the game, like my thoughts and all that. Let's just say the game isn't bad, but it's not very good either. It's playable, the side quests and side missions and side activities are, at least to me, were interesting. The whole story is a giant mess with no real logic. The characters are kinda bland, and everything seems so forced into it, like it doesn't really make any sense. Like, really. In any case, that's it for that. Now, any unsaved progress? Yeah, fuck you. That's it. But there is still the Tyranny of King Washington DLC. I think I can play this, right? Yeah. I didn't actually create this. But for whatever reason, there's a save game. Huh. That's kind of strange. So, 89% synchronization rate, 42 hours, but that isn't correct, honestly. Like, I don't know how it counts and what it does count. But this was a 50-hour playthrough. I'm fairly certain I played a bit over 50 hours, judging from the length of the parts. This is the 46th part. And some of them were closer to 2 hours. So, no, I think it's like 50 hours or something. So 50 hours to basically beat the game and do all the side activities and side content without getting the 100% synchronization. I mean, that game is kinda lengthy. And yeah, it's not over yet. The Tyranny of King Washington, not the Tyranny of George Washington, as I said before. The Tyranny of King Washington. I'm not sure how... Does this continue the story, or is this a like a continuation to the story, or is it a standalone thing, or what is it? Like, from what I'm to understand, it's not that long, but it's still moderately lengthy. So I kind of want to do this, and I want to play it to see if it actually has any ties to the main story, because it is kind of a cliffhanger, and I kind of want to see the continuation or the conclusion. But something tells me this will not be as big of that, and it's more of a continuation in the Assassin's Creed 4. Which probably, if I have to guess, that is probably the conclusion of the Desmond and the whole story saga, because that's the final numbered entry. After that, there was no Assassin's Creed numbered entries, if I understood correctly. There's like basically everything has like a subtitle in them. Like, I'm not even sure if Assassin's Creed 4 is Assassin's Creed 4, or is it like just Assassin's Creed Black Flag. I'm honestly not even sure, now that I think about it. I've always just thought that it was Assassin's Creed 4 Black Flag. But who knows? In any case, after that at least they started to do like Origins, Assassin's Creed Origins, Assassin's Creed Odyssey, Assassin's Creed Valhalla, Assassin's Creed Mirage, Assassin's Creed what the fuck ever, Assassin's Creed wipe your ass with this. So, I don't know. In any case, I want to play the Tyranny of King Washington, the DLC, and I'm gonna do that as well. I'm not sure if I'm going to be like completionist type of deal with it. I kinda want to just see how it is. Does it tie the plot? Does it have anything to do with the plot? What's the point of it? Like, King Washington, I don't think George Washington was a king. Ever. That's kinda strange. It might be just a moniker or something. But in any case, that's the main game, main story of Assassin's Creed 3 Remastered. Thank you for watching, and I'll see you in the next part, which will be the Tyranny of King Washington. And after I've completed that, I'll probably give my actual thoughts about the whole game and the DLC fully. But until then, peace out. See you in the next part. UFONman is getting the fuck out of here. Bye bye.